Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are in a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett for Starcade, 605 NWA. TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team. Turner, Bond, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North, they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off, center stage, Bischoff. Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and The Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules, cat back. This wasn't the initial plan. Thompson's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chant. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when?
WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
It's another great day in the month of February. Did I say February right?
Yeah, we'll go with it.
Okay. It's a great day in this godforsaken month that is always cold and always rainy in the metro Atlanta area. Actually, it's been cold in Jacksonville too. And why doesn't it just fucking snow? Okay. I'm sorry. Hey, it's great to talk to you, Conrad.
Boy, I think you're upset about sitting outside in the 30-degree weather calling wrestling all night, 2 nights.
Yeah, that's not good. But you know what? I'm here really. I'm sitting there, and we do have long days.
Mm-hmm.
The taping days are long, as you know. I'm sitting there thinking, but what do I do in life? I'm not out here digging ditches, as the old cliche goes, or working on crews outside 9 to 5 days a week, and maybe having to have another job on the weekend to make ends meet. I've got a great niche in life. So I tell myself that all the time. And that that really does ease the difficulties we have in putting on a tape show. So I know my niche in life. I'm appreciative of it. I complained about it only as, trying to be irreverent or trying to be funny.
Sure.
I really don't mind. I really don't mind doing it. It kind of grates on you at times, but I don't mind. So put me in the cold. Let me do wrestling. I don't care. I am so thankful for where I am here in 2021. And obviously, you're the one that jump-started everything. So again, thanks.
No, thank you, man. We appreciate you, taking a leap of faith and tiptoeing back into wrestling. And now the whole world gets to appreciate the greatness that is Anthony Schiavone.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if maybe I tiptoed right now, but I've jumped in the pool.
Oh, big time now. I mean, listen, at first you were like, oh man, who the fuck is Big Cass and why am I watching this? And now look at you sitting out in the cold next to JR. How about that? Did you ever think you'd come back to be wearing a sweater vest next to a guy in a cowboy hat and a fucking lucha mask?
No, I never thought I'd work with JR again.
Yeah.
And you and I've kind of talked offline. I really, really love working with Excalibur. Great kid.
Nice guy, hardworking guy, really cares, really tries.
Right.
You know, everything you want in a coworker, I'm sure. It's what Excalibur does. Effort.
Right. Right. And we have a good crew. I mean, you know, with Keith Mitchell behind the scenes, and here I am, I know, putting over AEW, but I'm going to. And just the people who work, just everybody. Chris Harrington, the ladies in Mega and Margaret in the legal department. We just got such a great crew of people. And hell, I'm not only that, I've been seen on Impact Wrestling. I mean, how about that? I was not involved in wrestling, and now I'm seen on AEW and at times on Impact. Jesus, what's next? Well, maybe I end up in Japan. I don't know.
Oh God, I hope not. Fuck, it's gonna be hard. It's hard enough to get you to record now. You're gonna get into that Bruce Pritchard territory. Hey, you know, I hate to do this, but we have to, and I figured we should do it right at the top of the show.
Okay.
We lost Butch Reed this past week. And we have had so much fun with Butch on our show. And if I'm honest with you, Tony, I felt a little bad because it felt like a third of the comments I saw were somehow referencing our podcast. And I just didn't feel like that was the time or the place. You know, this guy contributed a lot to wrestling and was one of my favorites as a kid, as a member of Doom. And when I go back and I watch tapes of the stuff that he did before I was really watching, he was an incredible talent. Yeah. And I don't know, man, it was one of those times where I kind of felt bad that we had, you know, talked about with Bruce that he was over in Florida and talked about with you that he, you know, created Netflix, and it was just silly. You know, we're trying to make you laugh and entertain you, but I don't know, man, when a guy lost his life for real, and that's what it was, I was like, oh shit, man, we got to rethink what we're doing here a little bit. Because he was a good dude, man. Yeah,
he was a good dude. And by the way, our countdown coming up mentions Butch Reed over in Florida again.
There you go.
So I just wanted to put that out there so let you know that it was recorded ahead of time. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. He's been
maybe I should take it out. Maybe I should edit it out.
No, we'll do it. Here's the thing.
Okay.
We're going to get back to that. Here's what I want to do though. Let's go ahead and find a way to get in contact with his family. And any sort of reference or any sort of merch or whatever, let's make sure that we're taking care of them and just get 100% of the proceeds over there. He was a good dude who contributed a lot to wrestling, and we were trying to bring his name back and in our own way, you know, pay respect and homage. But I don't know, it just felt weird, you know. Oh man, Butch Reed passed away. First comment. Well, you know, he was over in Florida. God damn it. Let's fucking remember what the guy did for real and not get our shit in. You know what I mean?
Sure. I'm with you, but you do know that in what you and I do, we obviously have a lot of fun.
Oh, of course. That's why we're here.
But as we move along, you know, we talk about the past.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot of the people that we're going to see on the program today on our watch along have moved on, have passed away. And what I'm trying to say is it's going to continue to happen more and more and more because we're going back into going to go back into the 80s when guys were like in their 40s. So right now they're, you know, in their 70s or, you know, maybe late 60s or something like that. Kevin Sullivan's arrived. I don't know if you can hear him.
Kevin is really showing out back there.
See, now there's another one. You know, Kevin may be dead tomorrow. And then
I hope not. Why would you say that? Jesus.
I may be dead tomorrow. It's what I'm trying to say is you're dealing with old fucks. Oh, you are. Okay. So there you go. Hey, bud, go get up on this thing. Good boy. He's a good boy.
Yeah, I did Kenny Boland's podcast this past weekend, and
Kenny Boland
from Memphis. Never mind. So he, I guess he's Louisville. Anyway, he runs up. My dog sneaks in here. Yeah. And my little dog likes to jump on my leg and then jump on my shoulder and then jump on the back of my chair. I did his entire podcast, which was video, with my dog on the back of my chair. And I'm like, boy, I'm just really Schiavoneing this thing here. Just having a dog in the background. Cause I mean, as you got Bug set up there, Doug is like, I mean, for the rest of this show, Bug's going to be like furniture.
Yeah. He ain't gonna move, man. He's here to sleep.
Yeah.
Yep. He's here to sleep. I wish back in the day I had some girls jump on my knee, jump on my shoulder, jump on my head, back of my chair. You never happened to me.
You don't need them on the back of your chair. They can make a stop before they get there.
Pull over, lady. So yeah, back to our original thing. We're thinking about Butch Reed's family.
Absolutely.
And he was a hell of a performer with Doom. I got a chance to work with him. Always an easy guy to work with me. And he just seemed to me, and of course I know guys have stories about Butch better than I do, because I really only worked with him when he worked with Doom. But he was always easy to work with me. He and Ron Simmons were a lot of fun to work with. So feel bad about that. We've lost, and we'll continue, unfortunately, to lose a lot of our great stars from back in the day. So anyway, condolences to his family, really, and to his friends and everybody who worked with him. I hope. Where was he living? You probably have read more about it than I have.
I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I do plan to. Meltzer always does a great tribute piece, and we might actually we're going to try to do something for him on adfreeshows.com. Maybe we can get you and JR and a few others who knew him together to talk about him.
Yeah.
And just sort of pay our respects and I don't know, shine a light on a guy who was a big deal in wrestling for a long time, and then has been a big deal in our podcast for a few years here. And
sure.
I just think that'd be a nice thing.
Yeah. I think it'll be great. And, I'd love to do it. Speaking of Meltzer, I do want to say something that I'm, the other day, minding my own business,
please don't.
Removing myself from, which is what I normally do, removing myself from social media, which I do at time to time. I'll just go like, I don't know, sometimes a month without reading any tweets or anything on Instagram, just staying away from it.
Right.
And someone sent me a story from a wrestling website, and the headline says, Tony Schiavone is dealing with severe knee and back pain.
Yeah. It's from your podcast right here.
Yeah. I'm thinking, and Meltzer apparently wrote about it too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that, are we so desperate for news in wrestling? You got to talk about an old man's knee and back.
Well, in fairness,
it was flying fuck.
It was one line. I mean,
but it was a whole story on this one.
Well, yeah,
they made a story out of it.
Because if Meltzer writes one sentence, then they try to, be verbose and make it 2 paragraphs. But
I'm not ripping the wrestling website because they were very kind to me.
Okay.
We hope Tony gets back. We're enjoying his work, blah, blah, blah. That was very nice. I appreciate that. But I got to wonder, man, I guess it's all about getting clicks, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I get that. But it was just funny to me that my knee and back pain was a lead story. Just what's going to happen when my asshole flares up?
Oh, well, don't talk about it here on the show. Okay. Or else it will be in the Observer, and we will make it a shirt.
I do have hemorrhoids. I do have gas. I can't eat Mexican food anymore. What else we gonna know about me?
Right there, that just became our top seller. We're just gonna list your rant right there, like those terrible shirts you get ads for on Facebook. And boom, because I don't know if you saw, I really thought Ryan would have heard it and just went straight for it, but he waited till it was suggested. But it's over at boxofgimmicks.com, and it's from your sit-down interview with Willie Nelson and Dusty Rhodes last week. Legends aren't born. Legends aren't made. Legends are born. So fucking corn. And he put it in like an old country Western font. It's tremendous.
Well, Ryan's on top of his game. There's no question about that, man. Where do you find these people?
Man, they all gravitate to us. They want to be a part of what we're doing. And he was making graphics for us a few years ago. Not for us, just like he was we didn't know him, but he would just make a graphic for whatever we said that was funny that week. And I don't know, he did it for like a month, and I slid in his DMs and I said, hey man, you want to start making our t-shirts? And so we had a conversation, and off to the races we were. And then we had one of those last NWA Fan Fest deals in Charlotte, and he just happened to be there. So we got to hang out and spend some time together that weekend, and it was great. So yeah, he's a part of the squad.
You've developed yourself quite a whack pack.
Well, I appreciate that. Shout out to Shuley, who's left the Stern Show and started his own podcast.
Oh, there you go.
So
you know why?
Backpack, it made me think of that. Why?
Because he's been influenced by the Conrad Thompson Empire.
Oh, well, that's a nice thing for you to say. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's nice for you to say. Hey, one more thing before we get going on the show today. By the way, we are watching wrestling. It's going to be February 8th, 1986, World Championship Wrestling. The follow-up show from Superstars on the Superstation. Want to give you a quick update, Tony. I've decided to start blocking people on Twitter.
That's what I'm talking about.
It took a long time.
Yeah.
I had about 800 folks muted, but I just decided, you know what? I'm done with this. And I muted a few, and I was like, why have I been hesitant to do this? So I had Hancock. I said, hey man, get in my Twitter, go to my privacy thing and find the little blocked or the muted folks, unmute them and just block them.
There you go.
So he just hit me back. I don't know, like 3 hours later as he's working through the list of 800. And he said, I nearly just blocked Matt Coon. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, apparently you muted him a long time ago. Tremendous.
One other thing I want to bring up,
please,
while we're just talking here before we roll, our buddy Taz.
Oh God. What, are we in trouble again?
Yeah. Hey, so Schiavone, I understand you called me a pain in the ass on your podcast.
Every week.
I said, I think Conrad did. I don't think it was me. He said, no, I'm talking about your AEW podcast. One with Hobbs. You called me a pain in the ass. I said, no, that was Aubrey. No, it was you, Schiavone. I said, are you sure? I said, I do these podcasts. I said, I can't remember. He said, no, I'm listening. I got people out there. I know what you're doing. Then he accused me of muting him on Twitter. And I said, I didn't mute you on Twitter. And he said, yeah, you muted me on Twitter. I said, how do you know? He said, I got a friend of mine who investigates this stuff. I said, you know what? You need professional help.
Yes.
You really do.
Yeah.
And I love you. And you're one of the great performers of all time. And I have a lot of fun with you, but you need professional help.
Yes.
I didn't mute him. I checked. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, man.
Dude, I get accused of stuff all the time. You just got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, man. So anyway, so there you go. There's my Taz story for this week. But you're not a pain in the ass, Taz.
Yes, he is. Why are you lying? He's one of the biggest pain in the ass wrestlers we know. Just tell the truth. You know who else is? DDP. I don't even know who. There's a lot though. Let's think.
Yeah.
Chris Hero. He's a pain in the ass.
Yes.
There's lots of pains in the ass. Ric Flair's a pain in the ass. That's not a bad thing. By the way, I'm a pain in the ass. Nothing wrong with being a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Oh, no, nothing wrong with it at all because, hey, we've all been there.
We've all been there. Shout out to Big Booty Judy. Hey, so we're watching a special show today. We're having a lot of fun with 1986. The positive reviews continue to just roll in. People are really digging this walking through 1986 together. So fire up your WWE network, click on In Ring, scroll down TC World Championship Wrestling. You want to select the 1986 from the drop down list. Scoot down until you see February 8th. It'll show you a runtime of 1 hour and 26 minutes. And Tony, I think we've got a little special help with our countdown this week, right?
Yeah, we do. We got Brooke Balcom, who now is Brooke McGall, and her husband, Patrick, newlyweds, who have been longtime followers of us on our Patreon channel. That's patreon.com/ or just / now, WHW Monday. Great person, great people. I really love them both. They've done a little routine for us here. And by the way, they mentioned Butch Reed in here. So, and it's not at all derogatory. It's, Butch Reed over in Florida. So I wanted to let you know that. But anyway, so it's a great countdown. They've done a lot of great work for us. So let's go ahead and go to Brooke and Patrick, or I should say Patrick talks first and Brooke second. So here we go.
Oh, Jesus, what the hell do you want?
Well. Hello there, sir. I'm here to ask you one question. That question is, you want to join the cult of Schiavone?
The cult of Schiavone? Well, tell me, what are the benefits of being a Schiavoneanite?
Oh, wait, hold on. You're actually interested? Oh, crap. I've never had this happen before. Hold on, let me check my bag. I got this can of Spam from 2008, this bag of dog hair, and oh, wait, adorable pics of Bug Schiavone.
Bug Schiavone? I follow him on Instagram. He's more over than Butch Reed was in Florida. He's more over than Arn Anderson at a Waffle House. Sign me up. I'm a Bischoff subscriber, but all he sends is cassette tapes of himself blathering on and on about nothing for 6 hours.
Well, that sounds great. You get your first package in, let's say Schiavone time.
Wait, Schiavone time? What's that?
Whenever we feel like it. But I have one thing for you, and that's your countdown. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Ringside here. He doesn't know what to think of all this.
Good hip toss by Robert Gibson. Gibson now takes it up. Hey! Nice flip by Ricky Morton. Still all 4 men in the ring to pick him up. Tommy drop. They ram him into each other. It has started. Look at Ricky Morton.
Tony, while this is playing, I got some great news I haven't been able to share with you.
Okay.
We've officially licensed this.
Wow.
This song. So all these other motherfuckers who are playing it, they ain't paying to play it. We are. Here we go.
The NWA, National Wrestling Alliance.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to World Championship Wrestling. And you're ringside with the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, the Major League of Professional Wrestling. Tony Schiavone here with you this week. David Crockett not with us this week. He is on special assignment. But a lot of things to talk about, including a portion that you just saw, as you well know, by watching Superstars on the Superstation. We have new World Tag Team Champions. Those men are the Midnight Express with manager Jim Cornette. They defeated on the program the Rock and Roll Express. Even though the Midnight Express have the World Tag Team titles, the issue is not settled. You know the Rock and Roll Express would like to get their hands on none other than Jim Cornette. You also saw Ron Garvin in a classic match against the World Heavyweight Champion, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Ron Garvin is here today. The Road Warriors are here. The Russian team, Baron Von Raschke, many other top stars. Let's wait no longer. Let's go to the ring.
Let's go to the ring. And here comes Boogie Woogie. So let's talk about it. Oh, how about David Dellinger at the bottom? Not Doug Dellinger, David Dellinger. Hey, let's freestyle. I know you don't remember.
I think I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where was he? Where was David?
I think David was in Portland with Dusty and Flair. I don't think Dusty and Flair are on this show because they talked about going to talk about going to seeing Don Owens, the week before. So they were out west and they couldn't, they were just working out west. So David was with them.
It's a nice idea, but that's not actually what happened.
That's not happened? What happened?
Well, I'm just saying that Portland stuff happened the week before.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. So they did the whole show in the Omni, the Superstars on the Superstation, which was what we just covered last week. And then they were in Saginaw, Michigan.
Okay.
I did a double shot that day. So you had one crew in Saginaw, Michigan. That was Flair and Garvin there. Also had the Road Warriors on the card. The B show was Ricky and Robert against Bobby and Dennis in a 2 out of 3 falls, 60-minute time limit draw. The next day, Rick is still in Michigan, this time in Lansing. But the rest of the crew is doing a TV taping in Spartanburg. And Rick would continue his Michigan tour. He's there on the 5th. And then on the 6th, he's actually in Kansas City, Missouri. The rest of the crew is in Canton, Ohio. And then the day before this taping, Rick was in Des Moines, Iowa, wrestling Bruiser Brody.
Whoa.
How about that? I'd love to see that one.
Yeah, me too.
The rest of the crew, though, they're in Norfolk at the Scope and you got
Norfolk
Scoop, and you got the Midnights and the Rock and Rolls there. And this is our matinee show on the 8th. That night, you guys are going to all scoot up to St. Louis, and you'll have Harley Race and Ric Flair in a non-title steel cage match where Harley goes over.
There it is right there.
Ricky and Robert, Bobby and Dennis, they're all on that same card though. So I don't know that it would make sense that that's not why they're on the show, but they're going to say that Dusty is actually still taping his movie, filming scenes. But yeah, David Crockett's not here, which is a little weird.
Well, and here's, of course, I was thinking it was Portland, but let me tell you what happened back in the day.
Okay.
When we would send our big stars to territories. Okay. So there were still territories there, like Portland, like St. Louis, like Florida, or I'm trying to think of another we would send them to. Anyway, wherever Kansas City. A lot of times Jimmy would have David go or somebody from the office go as well, as if to say, here we are, we're big. We're not only sending you the big stars that you see on TBS as part of Jim Crockett Promotions, but we're sending an executive with us as well. And I never wondered, I often wondered if that was maybe they're trying to buy all these territories, and they did. They bought some of the territories, obviously spent too much money on one, but that's what they would do a lot. They would just not send Rick and Dusty to the places, and they would put them in the private jet, and David would hop on the jet with them and go, or Jimmy would go. So that's what I thought it was Portland this time. It could have been St. Louis. So, and that was why. Listen, David would never miss this show unless something like that, wasn't what they felt was important.
Well, this is Boogie Woogie here coming out on the A side. And next up, we're going to here's the replay. Oh, little back elbow.
It's about 5 minutes longer than Boogeyman usually went.
We got Paul Jones and Ron Bass coming up. Oh, but first, here's Boogie. Let's see what happens.
Boogeyman Vi, you're feeling good, aren't you?
Woo, sure got that right, baby. Put your red dress on, baby, cause we going out tonight. And bring some boxing gloves in case some fool might want to fight. Hey, baby, I feel good. You straight got that right, baby. You straight got that right. I want to say something real short and sweet, baby. J.J. Dillon, Tully Blanchard, Boogeyman sung that song for you. Because, baby, when we going out, we gonna fight. And I'm not done with you. I'll still kiss you later. That's a problem.
Okay, the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant. When we come back, Paul Jones and the Barbarian, who is the strongest man in wrestling. We'll also have the Road Warriors in action when we come back.
You straight got that right, baby. We got to start talking like him, like to each other on the phone through the week. Right. What day do you want to record, Daddy?
You straight got that right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Claim to be the strongest man, but I don't think I've ever seen a man come out here putting up money to prove that his man was the strongest man. But the question still is, someone has accepted that, and he's asking you to get a little bit more specific with what you're talking about.
Well, Bass has accepted. Now, Bass talk is cheap. With me, action speaks louder than words. And I'm talking about him wanting to make a name for himself just by inquiring about the rules and regulations. There's where I'm saying he is stalling for time. If you want the challenge, come out here and put your hand on the Bible and say, I think I can beat the Barbarian. I think that I'm stronger than the Barbarian. Well, you can think all you want, Bass. Because, brother, that is your God-given right. And as long as you think it, and as long as you tell people that you're this and you're that on television, fine. If they believe it, hogwash. Because they can look at this man behind me and 23-inch arms, 22-inch neck, can bench press 700 pounds. And Bass, you tell me the only credentials you have is you're a country boy. So what? If you can drink milk from a cow without a glass, anybody can do that. Mind you, it does take a little guts, probably. I couldn't do it. because I don't go anywhere where there's not sidewalks. And let me tell you something, Bass. $10,000, and you want to know what the rules are. Well, let me tell you, don't worry about the rules. The only thing you have to worry about is, are you stronger than the Barbarian? And remember this, Bass, before I leave, the embarrassment is going to be on you when it's all over with.
Speaking of strong men, let's go to the ring.
Were you dying 1,000 deaths standing there holding that microphone? It just kept going. And you kept thinking, all right, he's got a big finish planned. He's going to pull the nose up on this thing.
No.
And it didn't.
No, he never pulled the nose up on it.
Oh.
He was not a good promo. Drinking milk out of a cow without a glass, and I don't go anywhere there's not a sidewalk.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. That's Paul just trying to come up with shit. That's all.
You ever watch The Office?
Oh, yeah.
So, there's times where Michael Scott says something that's just so fucking uncomfortable that you almost want to hold like the pillow on your couch over your face.
Right.
My kid Kansas said, Dad, that's called secondhand embarrassment.
Okay.
Well, I just had secondhand embarrassment for Paul Jones. Thanks for smartening me up, Kansas. Now I know what to call it.
Oh,
my God.
Yeah. Bless his heart. I mean, I liked Paul, and Paul and I really got along. I talked about him being an Amway guy.
Right.
There was a time that, and it was during, let's see, 1986. I'm trying to think. Lois and I lived so many different places, but we had this. This is probably 85. This happened, but Paul had a rental car and wanted me to take the rental car back to Charlotte for him. We all flew down, and he said, "Listen, I got to fly on to whatever town. Would you take my rental car back to Charlotte and check it in for me?" And I said, "Sure." And because I'm that type of guy. So instead of flying back to Charlotte, I was going to take his rental car back, and I said, "Paul, I need to talk to you about the rental car." And he came up to me, and he was like real pissed off. He said, "You're getting ready to tell me you don't want to do it, right?" I said, "No, Paul. No, I'm not."
What a weird thing.
Yeah, I mean, he was like jumping into my shit for no reason. I was just going to ask him a question about where to return it and everything. And it was very apparent to me that he's been fucked over before. So I returned his rental car. Okay. And then I got it, and I called his wife, who I knew his wife real well back then. I can't think of her name right now, but she was very, very nice lady. And I said, "Tell Paul when you talk to him, the car's back." She said, "Okay, I will." I'm thinking, fuck, Paul go cut one of those fucking promos on me about the rental car. That's right, Schiavone. You don't drink milk out of a cow without the glass. Fuck.
Terrible, dude.
Yeah.
Terrible.
But he made a lot of money in the business.
Oh, I have no doubt. But it was a different time.
Right. And one of the reasons he could make a lot of money in the business, he could work, man. He really could.
Yeah, he understood. Listen, not everybody has to be a great promo, but to me, if you're going to be considered, like when we talk about, hey, who are the all-time great managers, depending on how old you are, your answer will vary, but inevitably it comes back usually to Paul Heyman. He's sort of the newest name on the list. Jim Cornette or Bobby Heenan. We just saw the Road Warriors destroy a couple of guys.
Right.
No big deal there. Chase and Glover. We're coming back with a promo. Here we go.
Could say or do, there's no intimidation to these men. We're talking about the Legion of Doom.
Hey, you know something, Tony? I was sitting watching WTBS Superstation Wrestling the other night. For once, I wasn't beating somebody up. And I seen the Russians talking about superiority. They said they were superior to us. Now, how dumb do you think people are, Russians? Take a look at this and that and tell me you're superior. The only thing you're superior at is being a lowlife. Now, as far as Paul Jones goes, out here talking about the Barbarian and a 700-pound bench press, well, you can climb in the ring with us anytime you want. That goes for everybody in the NWA. You want a piece of the Warriors? Hop in the ring. Hey, Russians, I hope you just saw what we did in that ring here on the Superstation. It was an example to see if you really want to get in the ring with us or not. Let me remind you, 83, 84, and 85, tag team in the air. That's right, the Legion of Doom. We want you in a type of match, we don't care where it is. A type of match where you can't run from, you can't hide, and you can't cheat. Then we'll see who the baddest fighters are in the ring. Hey, promoters set them up, and we knock them down.
You know, Tony, it's become apparent that the only place the Russians have ever been invited is outside. Well, we're going to invite you inside, Russians. Just sign the dotted line and Midnight Express. That goes for you, too. You can't hide, and if you want a nightmare, sign a match with the Legion of Doom.
Okay, some words not only to the Russians, but also to the Midnight Express from the Legion of Doom. Let's go back to the ring.
Man, this is not a great day for promos so far.
No, it's not. You know, I'm watching that thinking that how much fun I really had with the Road Warriors doing promos because, well, I mean, Hawk was serious when he went, but Joe a lot of times was not serious when he walked up to the desk there. And while we're still waiting to come to us, he would look at me and he would like make some goofy face to try to make me smile or laugh.
Yeah.
And then he would turn around and all of a sudden he would be animal, which I thought was always really cool. But Hawk was like Hawk,
right?
You know, he was in that Hawk mode that, and I don't know if you've talked to Arn about him or not. Cause Arn worked against him back in the day when he was like, really, really out of his fucking mind. But Joe was kind of like the one that you could play with. And then you could play around with Mike backstage, but not out there, man. But, Joe and I would just kind of cut up a little bit when the camera wasn't on, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I always thought, man, that is so cool for me to be able to see this.
Yeah.
And then when the camera hits and they turn around for them to be the Road Warriors, I just, that was, to me, that was kind of the magical part of what I was doing. I loved it. Hey, is this our Golden Terror again? Yeah, that's our Georgia Tech guy.
Yes, our Georgia Tech guy. And just, dude, we talk about it every week, but how fucking ripped is Ron Garvin here? Ron Garvin, if you drew a wrestler, you'd probably draw somebody who looks like Ron Garvin.
Yeah, I think Ron Garvin would be, Ron Garvin was from what I call the Paul Orndorff school, just as fucking tough as nails and had wrestled around. And had you taken Paul Orndorff and removed him from that scene with Vader in the back when they got in the fight,
yeah,
and stuck Ronnie Garvin in there, Ronnie Garvin would have beat Vader's ass too.
Yeah,
I mean they're both cut from the same. They're just see what Ronnie's doing right there. He drove the point of the elbow in the back of this guy.
Yeah,
I mean, and that wouldn't have worked, man.
Yeah, shit looks real.
Yeah, this is real. And Ronnie just, I don't know. You call it sadistic? I don't know. I just really enjoyed fucking around with these guys, stretching them. That's old school stuff. I had a chance recently to go to the Nightmare Factory and address some of the students there. And of course, that's the school that Cody and QT are putting on. And of course, also Glacier's a part of that. And I'm addressing these kids, and then I'm watching them work out, and I'm watching what they do. And these guys, they have some great things that they have them do to learn the business.
Right.
But I was thinking in my mind, as I'm watching them, I'm thinking about, that ain't the way it used to be when you wanted to be a wrestler.
Right.
Society has changed, obviously, a great deal, but I can remember going to the old Charlotte Coliseum, which is now the Bojangles Arena. Hello, Jay-Z Flair, the Bojangles Arena, and seeing Gene Anderson have a guy run the steps until he almost dropped, and then have him come in the ring, roll in the ring, and have one of the guys beat the fuck out of him. Beat him to fucking death. And then if he came back and wanted to do it again, then you had a chance to be a wrestler, and most of them wouldn't. That was the weeding out process. So Ronnie Garvin was one of these guys that, just really beat the fuck out of you. Like he's kind of doing now. Look at that. I enjoy seeing that. I mean, Ronnie he also knew how to work. You know, that punch of his was always a working punch, but it looked good. But up until that moment, watch the fuck out. I mean, if I'm one of the young guys and I see Ronnie Garvin's name on the format, I'm thinking, oh God, here we go.
You know, you think fast forward, like, I don't know, 10 years in WCW, those worldwide tapings, Kevin Sullivan sort of did the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Little
absolutely.
stocky, sawed off, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just a giant muscle in the ring. And because maybe he was shorter in stature, much like Ron Garvin.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat the fuck out of you.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to believe that I'm real when this is over.
Yep.
Let's hear a little of that music.
We own that music. Mike Dawkins is going to be knocking on your door.
Ric Flair, Ron Garvin, what a classic battle we have seen right here on the Superstation. And what we just saw, knocking a man out not once, but twice. Definitely, you want that title, still want that World Heavyweight title.
Well, Tony, I'm not a quitter. First of all, before I go any further, I'd like to say thank you for the cards and letters. I can't answer all of them, but I try to do my best. And I'm proud to be an American. It's a great feeling, and I'm going to tell you, Ric Flair, if you think for a second that I'm going to quit, well, you got another thing coming, because I am not a quitter. You know, you lose a ball game, you don't hang it up and quit. No, you try harder. That's exactly what Ronnie Garvin's going to do. I'm just going to try harder and harder and until I get it. You see, because sooner or later, Ric Flair, you're running out of steam, see? I don't know if you're running on regular or unleaded or what. Or whatever, you better add some booster to it, because you're slowing down, and slowly and gradually I'm going to get you. You see, it don't matter where, if it's in Cleveland, Ohio, if it's in San Francisco, if it's in New York, if it's right here in Atlanta, it don't matter. You see, because I see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's where you're at the end of that tunnel, and I'm coming. You see, you can say I talk about Space Mountain. Yeah. Well, the next time I'm going to wrestle him, he better tell the people that after you wrestle me next time, Space Mountain's going to be shut down. It's going to be closed for the night. Because you see, I got one weapon. You got the figure four. I've got a punch. And I got a lot more than that. See, I got a lot of wrestling ability. And I've got a lot of people behind me. And believe it or not, it makes a big difference. When you stand in that ring and you got 10,000 people cheering you on, go Garvin, go. You see, that inspires me. And I appreciate all the support the fans give me. Because I know I need it, but I'm doing it for myself also, because my dream is going to come true. And the only way you make a dream come true is you keep going after it until you get it. And 1986 is the year Ric Flair, Slick Rick, is going down, so is Space Mountain.
Okay, Ron Garvin says 1986 is it for Ric Flair. Let's go to more action.
So Ron Bass here is about to beat the shit out of poor Larry Clarke. But dude, that got all over me. I want to add some context. This is 1986. And in 1984, Lee Greenwood put out an album, You've Got a Good Love Coming. And one of the hits on that song that everybody my age had to listen to throughout school was God Bless the USA. And one of the verses starts, and I'm proud to be an American. And fucking Ron Garvin just hit it out of nowhere. He's clearly just riding around, listening to the radio on the way in. And I'm going to use that in my promo. And he shoehorned it in where it made no fucking sense. None. And the best part of the whole deal is, well, I mean, I guess that doesn't really matter. He's Canadian. He's from fucking Montreal. And I'm proud to be an American. Just shoehorn it in there. It's tremendous.
Okay. Let me add some context to this too. Okay.
Please do.
Okay. This is after the Challenger exploded.
Oh, look at there.
Yeah. Challenger exploded the end of January of 1986. And I think that was just kind of his way to
acknowledge it.
Yep. It could have been. I may be wrong, but I know this is pretty close to after the Challenger exploded. So maybe that's why it shoehorned it in, but it's funny.
Okay, let me ask. There was a moment where Jim Cornette threw a fireball in Ronnie Garvin's face.
Okay.
And Cornette comes out, and I believe you're holding the stick, and he's doing a promo, and he has a line that Dusty hates so bad, he makes him go back out and redo it.
Okay.
And the line was when he's bragging about throwing the fireball in Ronnie Garvin's face. Ronnie Garvin went up like the challenger. And Dusty was like, nope, go redo that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Tell us about that. Cause it's not going to air because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jim gladly went out and redid it. I mean, he did not bitch or complain that he had to go redo it.
Yeah. He knew it was over the line. Yeah.
Yeah. Jim knew, and Jim it probably hit him like, oh God, I shouldn't have said that. And I remember him going out and redoing it. And I remember when it happened because I mean, I'm standing out there. I wasn't told Jim's going to come back out and redo it.
Oh, okay.
I just saw him come back out. And when he came back out, I knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
Because of what he had said.
Right.
So again, I'm out front there. I'm not even sure I had an IFB in.
Really?
You have to, yeah. We need to check on one of these interviews. I don't think they had any communication to me at all from the back, which is kind of odd when you think about it. But I mean, that's old school, right?
Oh,
Bob Cottle back in the day, they never had, just go out there and talk, dude. And if there's something we don't like, we'll tell you during a commercial break, come out and do it, which I've seen, I saw Jimmy do that one time, to Roger Dean. Man, he fucking hammered his ass. I know you've talked to Jimmy Crockett,
dude,
but did you get a sense that he could get really pissed off?
He didn't say that, but yeah, you could tell he was not about the bullshit. And I just had a chance to see the first cut of part one. I think I may have mentioned to you, we did like nearly 5 hours together.
Right.
So part one's going to be over 2.5 hours. And we talk all the way through the end of 86. And then of course, part two will be 87, 88. And of course, the end, but my goodness, so much good stuff. And, my resident Mid-Atlantic expert, Dick Bourne, who runs MidAtlanticGateway.com, that we should definitely put over here. He was in love with it and thought it was fantastic. And, thanks to George Pantas, friend of the show, we've got a really nice thing we're doing at the end of part one. And here we see Ron Bass, finishing with the claw. It was like a claw slam type deal.
Yeah, he's got that black glove too.
And here he comes. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Out here still would not tell us anything more than it was feats of strength for $10,000. That's all we can get out of him.
Tony, nobody's ever accused Paul Jones of being an idiot. He come out here and he started making all kind of challenges. He didn't think there was going to be any takers. He didn't think that his $10,000 would be in jeopardy. But all of a sudden, this little country boy that he likes to call me, this little country boy said, yes, Jones, I'll take your $10,000. I'll take your big mantle and anything that you want to do. All you got to do is just define it a little bit. So, Jones, all the talking should be over with, brother. You're like some little moth floating around a light somewhere. You don't know where to light. You're trying to psych people out. You're getting to their heritage. You're trying to get to their courage. Well, Jones, yeah, I'm a country boy, brother. I was worked all my life, brother. I've never had anything given to me. I've never lived off somebody else's sweat and blood like you're doing, boy. I don't see how that you can go to bed at night with a clear conscience, friend, when you got this poor barbarian out there, strong in body, and as you say, weak in mind. So, Jones, you just quit saying, yeah, I challenge you. You just quit saying, Bash, you ain't got what it takes. All you need to do, Jones, you're talking about action speaks louder than words. We got a ring set up right here, brother. Why don't you bring your big animal out here right now? If you think that the big cowboy's hiding from you, it ain't gonna happen, brother. Just bring your $10,000 out because Christmas bills are due, brother. Income tax is coming up, and it would go a long way to be paying those old bills, brother. Because like I said at the very start, $10,000 is a big, big payday for anybody, brother. Especially this old country boy. So yeah, I've got a little mud on my boots, brother. I've got some calluses on my hand. But what I'm going to get is your $10,000, Jones. Just bring on your animal.
All right. Cowboy Ron Bass, and we're coming right back.
Sounded like Jay-Z cutting a Bojangles promo. By the way, I don't know if you saw, but Jay-Z Flair has changed his name. He's now Jay-Z Graham. Well, here she is, Baby Doll, with the national heavyweight title.
But we're glad to see that you and Dusty have the national heavyweight belt back. Good to see you, Baby Doll.
You know, it's kind of lonely without Dusty out here, isn't it? So. But listen, Dusty's out with his good friend Willie Nelson closing up the final shots of Willie's new movie. And Arn Anderson, it's just a matter of time that you found out that you're going to end up just like Ole Anderson. And Tully Blanchard, after what the people saw last night, you've found out that you've jumped in with both feet, and we're going to take care of you. And if I had any word about it in the situation, you'd be next and not Arn Anderson. And by the way, Russians, you've got your hands full right now with the Road Warriors. That's fine. But you messed with America's team. When you mess with America's team, you're jumping from the frying pan right down into the fire.
Baby Doll here with us on World Championship Wrestling. Back to the ring.
Y'all should not have let her do promos. She's a nice lady, but the audience didn't care if they were reacting to what was in the ring. It overpowered what she was doing.
Yep.
She didn't feel like, it didn't look like she had a lot of confidence in what she was saying. Don't get me wrong. She was a valuable asset of what you guys were doing. She did her job fine, but Miss Elizabeth wasn't a strong promo either.
Yeah. Dusty liked Nicola, and we all did. And he wanted her to get better. And the only way to get better was go out and do it back then.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So, that is that. I thought Ron Bass cut a pretty good interview. I mean, there was nothing wrong fundamentally with,
it was old school.
It was old school and we've talked about Ron's promos before. I mean, it was good stuff. I mean, Ron was not top level main eventer, right? He was kind of a, I don't know, upper mid card guy, but, he was solid, man. He everything he did was solid. We saw him work. He was solid in the ring. I really liked, what we were talking about Jimmy Crockett, and I can just remember because I knew all four members of the Crockett family very, very well. Worked with Francis at the baseball for a long time. Obviously, David and I are friends, and David helped me a great deal working with him on the shows and personally. And Jimmy was the boss. Jackie was kind of the wild card. Jackie was a camera guy, and Jackie was kind of like you and me in a way. Just kind of like you and I are, dirtbags.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. I mean, really, he was tremendous to be around. I just love Jackie. He was so entertaining, and he had a perspective that no one else had in the family. So what I'm saying is all four members of the family were very, very different, had different personalities and stark differences. But Jimmy was the boss. Jimmy, he could get pissed off. Wow.
Give me an example.
I can tell you the time. This was like his final time of, I'll give you two examples. Final time at World Championship Wrestling under Kip Fry, Jimmy and I sat down and in his office and came up with a plan for local interviews. And I came up after talking to him for a long time. I came up with an email and I sent it out, and he saw that email and he brought me in his office and just he hammered me, man. Don't you ever put my name on an email. And, he said, you're kind of a half-ass producer. He said, because you let the boys push you around, and you can't let the boys push you around. He was eating out my ass and trying to lecture me about how I should do my work. And Kip Fry came by the office and heard him shouting at me. And Kip said, "What's going on?" And when I walked out, and I said, Jimmy's just like out of control. And it wasn't too long after that Kip sent Jimmy back to Dallas, and he didn't come in the office anymore. That, and then there was one time I think it was Roger Dean, who was and I think Roger's going to be coming on our show, I believe, or maybe he's already been on our show. They brought him in from the AWA, and Roger would just have these real funny comments, that we kind of get by with now on TV.
Yeah.
And Jimmy didn't want that. He did not want you to talk about yourself. He always got pissed off when Gordon Soley would say hello to the people at Malio's in Tampa. And he just did not want you to talk about yourself at all. It was all about the guys. And if you varied from that, he came out one time during a commercial break and he ripped Roger a new ass. I never will forget that, thinking, how? And he walked away. Roger said, he doesn't like my work. He doesn't like my work. And I said, Roger, he wants you to talk about the match, buddy. That's all I can tell you. So, but there was a fiery side of Jimmy Crockett that not many people saw. Good guy. You know, he used me and he liked me, and he's the one to put me on TBS. He did. But man, I don't know if you saw that or not, but don't piss that guy off, buddy. Man. Francis would like that too, but she ran the baseball club.
David seems like he's cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Yeah, David was a good guy. And again, I'm not saying that Jimmy wasn't a good guy, just different personalities. But there was no question that, you know, that Jimmy ran the company, and you walked a fine line as an announcer about bringing out your personality. I mean, I could bring it out when Ric Flair was there with me. When Ric Flair did an interview, and I would do some facial expressions or whatever, or shake my head, he didn't mind that. But if I went into business for myself while this match is going on, saying something that's funny about the Barbarian, not putting him over, or say something irreverent. There was a time, and I think 86 was the year. We'll find out for sure. But my niece, Kathy, got married, and very close to her, my sister's girl. And Kathy and I kind of grew up together. We're only 4 years apart because my sister's 16 years older than me. And so they had a Saturday, and we'll talk about it after this.
Here we go.
We are, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, this is one of the greatest days of my life, Tony. I've been waiting for a long time to say this. I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, the NWA World Tag Team Champions, Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express. Are they beautiful or what? You know, I hate to be the first to say I told you so, but I told you so. Mama was so excited. Right after the match, she swooped us all up, took us home to Louisville, Kentucky, had a big celebration. She even named 2 of her new racehorses after Dennis and Bobby. So this year, we'll win the Kentucky Derby too. Everything's going great for the Midnight Express, the World Tag Team Champions, and rock and roll. I understand you're a little upset. The final phase of the master plan worked just like I wanted it to. You got beat on national television in front of everybody, in front of all your fans. You got humiliated just like I wanted it to happen. We just toyed with them until we got them on national TV, and then we took care of them in rock and roll. If you want to come back and try to get these belts, then you give it your best shot, because you gave it your best shot the night that they changed hands, and your best shot wasn't good enough. You couldn't keep these men from taking the belts off around your waist and putting them on theirs. And let me tell you one more thing. The greatest thing about this is, for weeks and months, I've been coming out here saying that we were the greatest team in wrestling, that we were going to beat the rock and roll, that we were going to win the world tag title. And everybody said, oh, Cornette's got a big mouth. Those guys ain't going to do it. Cornette's got a big mouth, all hot air. And I got 10 million poison pen letters from a bunch of junior high school girls all across America. Well, now, there's a lot of people all around the country eating a big plate of crow that said I had a big mouth. And there's a lot of little junior high school teeny boppers that are crying their poor little eyes out. And that's music to my ears. The Rock and Roll Express is going to be here to stay. And one more thing. To paraphrase the words of the greatest single professional athlete in the world today, the World Heavyweight Champion, Nature Boy Ric Flair, to be the team, you got to beat the team. Ric Flair's the man, and this is the team. And there ain't neither one of them going to fall for a long, long time to come. We are your World Tag Team Champions. Number one, the best there is. And nobody can dispute it as long as these belts stay around these 2 good-looking waists.
There you go.
And now, we got a couple of goofs up in the ring just waiting to get beat up, and that's where we're going.
How great is Jim Cornette, even when he's just freestyling?
Yeah, when he has really, he's the top 3 in my book. Flair, Arn, Cornette, top 3 of promos.
Can we talk about what's happening on the other channel here for a minute?
Yeah.
The other tag team champs at the time. So when you're watching in, say, February of 86, you're watching the WWF. It's Brutus Beefcake and Greg Valentine. Don't get me wrong. 2 iconic performers, 2 over the top looks, especially Brutus, but there's no comparing
the in-ring
work between the 2. Now That's going to change at WrestleMania 2. Of course, the British Bulldogs are going to become the new tag team champs. And if we were talking about Davey and Dynamite versus this version of the Midnights, okay, well now we got something. But dude, Beefcake and Valentine, no comparison.
No, you're right. I was watching that. I don't know if you noticed how much Dennis was fucking with me or not.
Oh yeah, the whole time.
Yeah, he just and I'm like, I'm doing my best. Like, what the fuck's he doing? But I really enjoyed them fucking with me, and I think they fucked with me because they tried to get me to laugh and and break character. They do that all the time. So I want to finish up the story about my niece's wedding.
Please.
She got married, and I think it was 86, could have been 87, 85. It was during these taping times. And it was a big deal and in the family. But I couldn't go because I had to do this, right? Mm-hmm. So I needed to say something about her. And I went to Jimmy and I said, listen, this is the deal. She's close. She's in the family. Please let me say something. He said, go ahead. And so I did a thing just by myself. I don't know if I did it. I can't remember if I did it at the end of an interview. I think I did, where I said their names and I told them that I couldn't be there and I'm very sorry about it. I hope it ends up airing, but I had to really get that cleared. I couldn't just freestyle it, man, because he would have but I had to get it approved. So anytime I would do things like that, you had to have it. Now we can say just about anything we want.
Right.
I mean, if it's a tape show, Tony will watch it and then he'll get back to me on Monday, says, I didn't want you to say it that way. Say it this way. But like, for instance, we had a tape match recently on AEW. I want to see is this the Alabama Jam or what's he going to do?
Look at the light. Oh, big elbow.
That was a good one, buddy. We recently had a Matt Hardy match. And I referenced the Italian Stallion, Gary Cortinelli, and during the commentary. And the reason I did was because Matt and Jeff, when they were trying to become wrestlers, hooked up with him and he fucked him out of a bunch of money and treated him like shit. And I know I've talked about him being a con man before. So I referenced the Italian Stallion, Gary Cortinelli, on the AEW tape show. Tony listened to it. Tony said, we need to remove that. That's too inside baseball. Which I went, God damn it. I wish I'd done it on a live show, right? Because it would have gotten by. But so anyway, so we say some crazy things, now, but never could have gotten away with it back then, man. It was strict, sell it, talk about the guys, don't talk about yourself, don't talk about what's going on. Talk about the wrestlers, call them. And, I always thought that was, and I'm going to say even before my time, Bob Caudle, Gordon Soley, the guys who did it for a long time, Vince McMahon, who did it before me. I always thought that was the magic of being an announcer. And the magic was make these guys, the superstars, seem bigger than life. One, there's the Alabama Jam. And number two, make who they are fighting seem like good athletes, even when it was a pair they didn't. Make them seem like they really beat somebody. Make it seem like a match. And I always thought that was the magic of being a wrestling announcer. That's why I love Bob Caudle and David back in the day and Gordon Soley and those guys.
Well, that'll get it done.
Well,
I love the way Dennis Condrey, when he was tagged in, he saw, there's a downed opponent, but the other guy, his tag team partner, was about to come in. So he runs over to give him a beating, but on the way, you see Bobby here realize, wait, I'm right by the light. Anyway, he just stepped on the guy on the way across the ring. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
One of the ladies in WWE does it now. Oh, here we go. The Russians and Baron. This is going to be hilarious. Here we go.
Along with Ivan and Nikita Koloff, talking about, I guess, among other things, the attack on America's team.
Yeah, the America's team. There are so many on the team. Tonight, we are going to eliminate the Road Warriors. The Road Runners are finally cornered, trapped like rats, and the Koloffs are going to finish them off. And as far as the America's team, Magnum TA, Dusty Rhodes, and whoever else wants to put their nose in the axis of power formed by Paul Jones. Well, let them try, Rick Dig. Show our special videotape. Show the Road Warriors. Show Magnum TA. Go ahead, you roll it. Want to show
All right, they
out
want
there
to show.
just
Watch
exactly
this
what
now.
is going to happen to Magnum TA. Just like what is happening out here. He's going to find out the power of nephew Nikita is far too much for him. He's going to have to give up United States heavyweight title to Nikita, a stronger force than he is. Like Road Warriors, you watch this too. You watch what happens when the Koloff family, along with comrade Baron Von Raschke, get a hold of you and finish you off. Yes, and whether it's inside the cage match, trap, this is the way we like it. Now we can dish out punishment to these Road Warriors, what they deserve. Put them down and embarrass them, just like Nikita is going to do to this Magnum TA. You watch it. This gives me such great pleasure to watch the destruction of such a man as Magnum TA. Now you'll see this American dream. Dusty Rhodes come sticking his nose out there, along with this call girl, this baby doll, which has no business out there. Belongs in kitchen washing dishes or washing diapers. Look at her, striking Nikita. Nikita thinks she's like a mosquito.
Now, why would anyone want to hit a girl? Now, look here.
Because she has no place in that ring. Dusty Rhodes hits the girl. We did not hit the girl. If she wants to be like a man, we will treat her like a man and put her down the street, Nikita.
On the level, Nikita won these Mega TA. If he runs from Nikita, he going to get hurt. And when he do, he run. Where do you go, Mega TA? Nikita look, but no fight. An American dream. You bring these sticky the woman in the ring. Well, I'm going to split her head, split your head, and split Mega TA head, and take USA title before this year go on. You hear, Nikita?
Yes, I hear you.
You do it down, America.
The Americans team had better never interfere with the axis of power ever again. And that's all they need to know.
Baron Von Raschke and Ivan and Nikita Koloff. Let's go to the ring.
Tony?
We didn't hit the girl. Dusty hit the girl. Holy shit.
What did we just watch right there?
Oh, my God. Hey, there's a Mulkey sighting here. One of the Mulkeys, Randy Mulkey.
By the way, as we mentioned, later this night, you were in St. Louis. Rocky Johnson over Tim Flowers, Debbie Combs over Despina Montagos, Jerry Blackwell over Kareem Muhammad, Nick Bockwinkel over Larry Zbyszko by DQ, and then Ricky and Robert over Bobby and Dennis by DQ, Tully Blanchard over Jimmy Valiant, and Harley Race would beat the world champion Ric Flair in a non-title steel cage match in 22 minutes and 46 seconds. The next day, you're down in Asheville, North Carolina, and Ron Garvin and Ric Flair go to a double count out. The undercard was a little more interesting, though. It had Tully Blanchard and Jimmy Valiant go 4 rounds in a tape fist match. 4 rounds.
I got to remember that. Talk to Tully about that when I see him next time.
That same day, it was a double shot. You had Flair and Garvin in Cleveland. So that other show in Asheville, clearly a matinee show, only 1,900 fans there, but in Cleveland, 7,000 fans would see Bobby and Dennis, lose to Ricky and Robert, and Tully and Jimmy did the exact same tape fist match, but Flair's not working with Harley. He's working with Ron Garvin, and of course Flair picks up the win. The next day, it's a spot show in Taylorsville, North Carolina. And this is all from the history of WWE.com. I highly recommend it if anybody's trying to do research like this. On the 11th, Dusty's back in action in Rock Hill. It's a TV taping. Yeah. We've got Bobby and Dennis defeating Pez Whatley and Sam Houston. And then we've got Dusty Rhodes teaming up with Magnum TA to take on Bobby and Dennis. That's a dark match after the taping, but still, that's pretty cool when you put, Dusty and Magnum together and put them with the Midnights. That's great for the Midnights.
Sure it is. Sure. It's great stuff. Rock Hill was a big TV taping place for us right outside of Charlotte, right on campus there. And it was, Rock Hill was a great place. It was basically a suburb of Charlotte, but in South Carolina. You know, I was thinking when I was watching that piece of footage, that angle there, man, that was pretty extreme. But I'm thinking that Magnum TA is probably thinking right now that the angle they want is Magnum and Nikita, obviously. But of the trio, Ivan, Baron, and Nikita, the last person I want to hit me with a chain is Nikita.
Yeah.
Because Ivan and Baron are old school and they know how to take care of it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nikita, he is still very green.
And he's gonna whomp your ass.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, oh, wrong guy with the chain here, but that's the fucking angle, man. And Nikita was stiff and Magnum was stiff. I mean, there's a lot of stiff guys, and some guys didn't appreciate it. The old school guys really didn't, because they knew how to do it. They knew how to make it work. And I've told the story before about Tully working with Magnum. He said, Terry Allen, he just basically lifted weights and wrestled. That's all he's done. And of course, Tully was this complete athlete. It was good stuff. The behind the scenes stuff that I got snippets of were wonderful things for me, because I had just, and I know we've mentioned this before, I had just come from fandom, and now I'm on the inside. And I just would see snippets of the real guys, and I would understand a lot of things about working and about how to take care of people and how people didn't take care of people. And just, this was part of my education of wrestling. And it was just wonderful. It really is. This is a wonderful time for me.
Well, that's why it's fun to go back and watch it with you, because so much of the shit you hated or blocked out or whatever, but this is like peak fandom for you, huh?
Yeah, this is it, man. This is it. I mean, here I am calling an Ivan Koloff match, right?
It's a big deal.
And I saw Ivan Koloff and Pedro Morales. I had seen the tape. I knew about him. Saw him in the, as we all said, the after magazines. Hold on a second.
Tully and JJ, here we go. We get back-to-back promos with them. Here's our first one.
First off, I got to take my hat off to Jim Crockett Promotions and the Superstation for putting the Superstars on the Superstation on last night. It was one of the greatest things ever for professional wrestling, National Wrestling Alliance ever saw. Now, you want to talk about Jimmy Valiant real shortly, real quickly, and real to the point. Jimmy Valiant, I got to take my hat off to you. I sent you as a message to Dusty Rhodes. You went back, Dusty, he's tougher than we thought. And I meant you keep coming back. Jimmy Valiant, that's fine. You want a tape fist match? That's fine. Because I'm going to keep knocking you down. If you want to keep getting up, like Edison said, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Well, Valiant, that's it. You keep trying, and I'm going to keep knocking you down. Because sooner or later, the domino theory that Mr. James J. Dillon, the administrative, pay attention to what you're doing, boy. You were still...
One of the interesting aspects of my job as administrative director of Tully Blanchard Enterprises is not only taking care of his contractual obligations, not only taking care of his training routine, not only his travel arrangements, but I also have to be constantly aware with his increased earning power of how I'm going to use the funds involved. And one of the things that we're really looking into at Tully Blanchard Enterprises is a travel agency. Well, I would like to have a real unique travel agency, because with Jimmy Valiant talking about tape fist matches, we are going to send Jimmy Valiant, the Boogeyman, on a trip, compliments of the new travel agency from Tully Blanchard Enterprises. And if he wants to take a trip to Venus, I want him to meet Venus. And if he would like to go to Mars, I want him to meet Mars over here. And maybe if the Boogeyman finds his lucky day where we're feeling real generous, we may send him on a double trip, Wapo to Venus, and on the way back, Wapo, we're going to send him to Mars.
Tully Blanchard, James J. Dillon, and back with more right after this.
Dude, if you think we're not going to have Tully Blanchard travel agency t-shirts by the time this airs, you're wrong.
There's a story behind that too. But I like Tori. Well, he said, pay attention, boy. Oh, we got an angle coming up here.
Here we go. Let's listen to this, and then we'll get the whole story on Tully Blanchard.
Let me tell you something. I'm out here. I heard what Ron Bass said on his interview, and I'm out here to tell you to read between the lines. He made a statement that I make money off the sweat of the Barbarian.
That's what he said. That's right. I remember.
Man, it has no brains, and I'm the brains, and I make money off him. Let me tell you something, Ron Bass. It sounds like you don't care where the money comes from or how it was earned, as long as you make it to help out with your taxes and money that you need. Well, let me tell you something, Ron Bass. Don't worry about the money. It's what you have to worry about if you have the ability to go through the 3 feats of strength. And Ron Bass, I don't think you have the guts to get the job done. I don't think you think that you can do it either. I think that you're just a desperate man. Farm boy and what have you. But let me tell you something right now. You can say whatever you...
Whoa, you mean I ain't got the guts, brother? Get your man out here right now. You're talking about no action, brother. Well, right now, brother, just get the man out here and let's just see what you can do, Jones. Back it up if you turn yellow, boy. Huh? Are you running? Won't you say it? Let's do it, boy. Huh?
Raise your voice.
I'll raise more my voice, boy. Just set it up right now, Jones. Where's he at?
I was out here telling the people that I thought if anybody had a chance, you had a chance. And I says, your arms are big. You're a big, strong farm boy with cow manure all over your boots. And I was telling him how much respect I have for you. And you come out here and holler at me. I want an apology.
You're going to get an apology right beside your head, Jones. Let me tell you something, brother. You put it down on black and white. You get your man out here. You're dodging the issue again. You think that I'm going to run from you. You don't think I'm man enough. You don't think I'm guts enough. Well, let me tell you something, Jones. I've got everything that you need, boy. All you got to do is put your name on the line, and let's get in the ring. Huh? Let's get in there right now.
Let me tell you something. You got it, Bass. I'll name the place next week.
Next week. You got that, Tony.
He said he named the place.
I said I'll name the place next week, and don't you ever
put your finger on me again, boy. I want to apologize, Tony, for coming out here and raising like this. It's not my character, but Jones, he's ducking the issue, and I'm going to force it on him.
Okay, Paul Jones said next week. Let's go to the ring.
Dude, he sounds just like Jay-Z Graham. Just like him. I bet when Jay-Z Graham has kids one day, that's why he's going to talk to his kids.
Paul had a crutch line, and I counted it during that interview. Let me tell you something.
Yeah. Everybody in wrestling in the 80s said, let me tell you something.
Yeah. He said it 4 times there. But he really used it as a crutch. And I thought that was a pretty good little thing.
Well, I say, let's keep it moving. And JR picks on me for it. And I'm like, well, goddamn, if I fucking took a shot every time you said, quite frankly, we'd both be fucked up about halfway through the show. So, we all got problems, Jim. Anyway, tell me about your Tully Blanchard travel agency.
Oh, yeah. This is kind of an inside thing that no one really knew about at that time. We had a travel agent that we used exclusively. Her name was Lindsay Barbie.
Oh, what a name.
Yeah, Lindsay. And Lindsay was a very attractive young lady.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And guess who was having an affair with her?
J.J. Dillon.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. And
he ended up marrying her. And they had children, and they're no longer married, but that no one knew it at that time.
She was much younger than him, right?
Yeah.
So this is the one that he moved to Connecticut with?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Lois and I had dinner with him when we moved to Connecticut. And Lindsay and Lois got to be friendly. And so that was that little insight. I guess maybe it was a message to Lindsay. I don't know. But I don't think I knew at that time that they were seeing each other.
Wait, so
maybe I did. I don't know.
Said
but
having an affair. I don't mean to cut you off. Do you mean that they were two single people who worked together and started a fling? Or do you mean at the time they were both otherwise involved?
I think I shouldn't even say, because I don't even remember. For some reason, I'm thinking that.
Well, you said affair, which makes people think that he had somebody waiting at home while he was diddling.
I don't know if was he married? I don't think he was. I think maybe she was.
Oh,
I don't know.
Well, there you go. J.J. Dillon is officially Mr. Steal Your Girl.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
Make that a t-shirt.
But that's, it just, I mean, Flair really loved Lindsay.
You know what really we just learned for real right there?
Yeah, what?
J.J. Dillon was a goddamn horseman. J.J. Dillon was in fact a horseman. Yeah. It's hard to imagine him, showing out at the bar and ordering 30 Stoli Sea Breezes and stirring people's drinks with his dick, typical horseman behavior. Yeah. It's hard to imagine him in that scene. It's because he's in the corner closing a deal.
Yeah. Well, when you got a minute bucket full of nuts,
Johnny Bench,
then obviously you're going to do that. But that's why I said it, buddy. That's exactly why. This is George South here, right? In the Baron.
Yeah, making him look good too.
Yeah.
By the way, we got another promo from Tully and JJ next. The formatting of this show is not great.
No, you're right. And you know what? It was done on the fly a lot. Go back out there.
If Dusty's not there, who's doing it?
JJ is.
Okay.
And maybe that's why it's not flowing that well. I mean, Dusty writes it down, but JJ runs it.
Hey, let me mention, I'm a belt nerd. We've talked about that here on the show. You've seen the last of the NWA 10 Pounds of Gold. It debuts 6 days after this.
Okay.
In Florida, there's Battle of the Belts 2 for Championship Wrestling from Florida in Orlando at the Eddie Graham Sports Arena. And it's on Valentine's Day. And that's when he debuts the new Big Gold. And Meltzer called the match he had that night against Barry Windham that went 41 minutes, the match of the year in the Observer. And Flair used Phil Collins' Easy Lover for his theme song to the ring that night. And then the next day, here we are for our follow-up episode to the episode we're watching here, February 15th. So the next time we see Ric Flair, he'll have the big gold belt and no longer the 10 pounds of gold.
Wow. Historic time, huh?
I mean, that belt, that 10 pounds of gold was synonymous with the NWA. Jack Briscoe, Harley Race, Dory Funk, Terry Funk, on and on and on. And now it's going to be replaced.
I don't know how we got, you were talking about Flair coming out to that music.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got away with it back then.
Well, the same way ECW did. You just didn't tell anybody and it flew below the radar and hoped that nobody, because appreciate too, it was Championship Wrestling from Florida. So it aired in Florida.
Yeah.
It's not like they were on the Superstation.
Well, we played unlicensed music on the Superstation too.
Until Turner buys it. And then Turner's like, hey, we can't do that.
No, actually it really happened before then.
Okay.
It happened when they did a video cassette for us for the Great American Bash.
Oh yeah. And they couldn't release it that way.
Yeah. I remember Steve Chamberlain, who was in charge of Turner Home Entertainment. He actually called me. He said, this Jimmy Valiant music, we can't use this.
Right.
He said, you guys have been using this the whole time? I said, yeah, we have been. So that kind of set the stage for us changing music.
JJ and Tully are back. Here we go.
On the Superstation, pile driver on Dusty Rhodes, take the belt and leave. Now, it was right there on tape.
I know, but that's not the important issue. The important issue that earlier in today's program, Baby Doll comes out here by herself. Obviously, the American dream already has been disillusioned. He's allowing her to roam free, which is the biggest mistake of his life, because he will cause her even greater embarrassment than he already has, and greater embarrassment than he caused this man in the past. It even hurts me to even discuss the subject. But she comes out here and she's all happy. Oh, Dusty has the belt back. That's a big thing. And he's serving a warning to Mr. Arn Anderson. He's going to suffer just like Ole Anderson did. And now Tully jumped in with both feet. Well, Baby Doll, you don't need to be a mental genius to realize that we jumped in with both feet a long time ago. It's just you're a little slow sometimes to catch on to what's happening, which is why I'll always be at least 5 steps ahead of you, and probably another 5 steps before you realize that you've even been stepped on.
Maybe a year in advance, James J.
But there is a very important point to be learned by watching this tape of the match that took place of the Superstars on the Superstation Special Edition. So I'm going to allow you to show that right now, and then we have a very important point that we want to make. Go ahead, Mr. Director. Go ahead and show it.
Let's show the tape that he's talking about right now.
He sits down hard. Tully trying to get out of it. Can he do it?
Getting right down near the end, too, David.
There's the bell. Now
This pile driver really is badass, by the way.
Tully caught him with that right foot. Okay, Tommy. Wait a minute.
Wow.
The pile driver. Wait a minute. JJ, give me that belt back. JJ has taken the National Heavyweight Championship belt. They don't win it. They just take it. Tommy Young says the match is a draw. He's got the belt, Tommy. You go get it.
Now, there it is, right here on...
Mr. Schiavone, the point that I wanted to make that this tape demonstrates so well is that Dusty Rhodes, even with all his charisma, is still a human being. 2 arms, 2 feet, and his brain cells are just as vulnerable when you drop him on his head. And most important is the national title is there for the taking, just like that.
Well, the bottom line of the whole thing is, just as James J. Dillon said, Baby Doll came out here trying to be articulate, trying to say something on national television with a very feeble effort. Now you know why I kept her behind the scenes. But she did have the National Heavyweight Championship belt. That's because we sent it back. We just wanted to send a little message. It can be taken, and we gave it back because I'm going to pin him 1, 2, 3. Now, the fortunate thing for Dusty Rhodes is, for the superstars on the Superstation, it was a 1-fall, 20-minute match. Not 1 fall, 60 minutes as normal. If it would have been 1 fall, 60, you saw what happened 2 minutes after the 20 minutes ran off. Dusty Rhodes laying in a prone position, unable to move. I would have easily crawled on top. 1, 2, 3, up to 100 if I wanted. And JJ and I would have walked out, and we'd have had one of the darndest victory parties you ever saw in Atlanta, Georgia that night. But I tell you what, Dusty Rhodes, Jimmy Valiant was a message. Now, I've gone a step further. I've sent the message directly to your doorstep. Because Dusty Rhodes, I dropped you on your head. The American dream, the Tower of Power, just like you always like to say, 2 times World's Heavyweight Champion, 1 time World's Television Champion. And don't forget Dusty Rhodes, who 1 year ago took the World's Television title from you and made it what it is today for Arn Anderson to come out here on television and talk about. That's right. You never held the United States Heavyweight Championship. I held it longer than anybody. And I never said the words I quit. And your buddy Shadow walks around here proudly holding something that he didn't win. Now, Dusty Rhodes, I've gone to the head of the snake. You got to cut the head off and the rest of the body dies. Well, Dusty Rhodes, I delivered the message to you. You and me, any place, anywhere, anytime. Put the national title on the line inside the squared circle, and Dusty Rhodes, one of us, will leave wrestling forever.
Tell Mr. Rhodes when you see him, it's ours for the taking, just like that.
We'll be back with more right after this.
Well,
little shooting on Baby Doll there, wasn't it?
A little bit.
For not being articulate. There was real heat there.
Here's Arn Anderson and his Baby Blues against Bill Mulkey. So we're getting both of the Mulkeys here.
How about that, man?
So as a reminder, he's been stripped of the National Tag Team Championship, but he is still your World Television Champion. Man, that belt right there, that's my new holy grail, dude. I'm chasing.
You know where it is, right?
No, I can't find it. I mean, I've had some leads. I followed up on them and I came up empty. Like they didn't have it legitimately, but I did get the 10 pounds of silver this last week, the United States Championship. You're going to love seeing that one again in person. It's something to see in person.
That's cool. That is cool, man. Here we go.
I love watching old Arn matches.
I do too. And I love watching, the Mulkeys as job guys because they, as enhancement talent, they were really over. It's, I guess it was because of their look, right? Just, thin, white skin, no tan. They could take good bumps. So, of course, we had that match where we actually put them over.
Mulkey Mania, baby.
Mulkey Mania, buddy.
People still talk about that.
Yeah, I think it was from 85, so I don't think it's during this year. Maybe it was during this year. I don't know.
No, it's probably 85.
Yeah, it was just.
We can find out.
Yeah, we can find out. We need to find out. I don't know, because it was just the interview after was tremendous. I actually started to laugh on the interview, or as watching the interview. David did the interview. Boy, Arn is moving slow here, isn't he? He must be really hungover. Yeah, he's agreeing with me. He shook his head. Nodded his head.
I love you.
That's why Tully had those really dark sunglasses on. Hungover city here, buddy. What a life, man! What a life.
You look back at this stuff fondly, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Just these kids going. Well, just going 100 miles an hour.
Right.
Working every night, twice on Sunday, sometimes twice on Saturday. I remember Arn saying backstage one time, he was bitching. He said, man, because he was fucking dead tired. He said,
hey, it was March of 87.
It was what? Mulkey 87?
March of 87.
Oh, okay. So wow, how about that? I thought it was earlier.
So we'll see it next year.
Yeah. So Arn said, my God, he said, can't we add another match, a matinee on Friday? I mean, I'm about dead right now. I mean, it was sarcastic. He was hilarious because they were working their ass off, these guys.
Yeah. All over.
And back then you had to work hurt. Right.
Let's run through the number of shows real fast.
Okay.
The prior week was February 1st. So you had the matinee show, which is the TV taping, and that's in Atlanta. That night you're in Philly. The next day you're in Charlotte or Ontario or Atlanta, because they ran 3 shows.
Jesus.
So you had 2 matinees and the night show. And then on the 3rd, again, 2 shows, one in Michigan, one in South Carolina. On the 4th, one in Michigan, one in South Carolina. On the 5th, one in Michigan. On the 6th, one in Kansas City, one in North Carolina, and one in Ohio. On the 7th, one in Iowa, one in Virginia. On the 8th, which is where we are right now, we're in Atlanta, but that night we're in St. Louis. The next day we're in North Carolina. The following day, Ohio. No, that's same day, double shot. And then the spot show on the 10th in North Carolina, the next day in South Carolina and Florida. On the 12th, we're in North Carolina and Miami. On the 13th, we're in South Carolina and Winnipeg. And then we're in Ohio and then Orlando and then back here in Atlanta. So that's a 2-week period. 2 weeks, all those shows.
Yeah, it was an amazing time for Jim Crockett Promotions, and obviously they were unable to keep up with. They also had me because now I'm working full time in wrestling here. They had me do some bookkeeping work for them.
Really?
Yeah, they David Johnson, who was the accountant. He had me. They would give me these big sheets, and they would have me write down the amount of. And I only did bookkeeping as far as travel expenses working or the cost of tickets. So I kept a list of how much they. And I don't remember any of the numbers. I really don't. Maybe I should have. But they had me keep account of how much they were spending on travel per week, airline flights. And I don't know if this kind of led to the time of year, if it kind of led to the planes or not. I know, did you talk to Jimmy about the planes?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course. Talked to Jimmy about the planes. And of course, if you think about it 2 ways. Number one, you think about it, God, an incredible expense for the company that obviously did not help the bottom line. But you think about it this way too, because the guys were traveling so much, it was much easier. And this is even before 9/11, obviously. It's much easier going to an FBO, a private, and just getting on a plane than going through security and everything at Hartsfield.
Oh, here we go. Here's Arn.
Defending the title. Looked like he got you upset at one time during the match. Much like Baby Doll has gotten you upset in recent weeks, I'm sure.
Tony Schiavone, I could have beat him just by mailing him a letter across the dressing room. You understand what I'm saying? He would have probably just walked away if it hadn't been for national television. Dusty Rhodes.
Where is he?
You're very, very presumptuous by the absence of your presence.
Give that man.
Now, I don't understand where America's team is today. Where's Magnum? Where's Dusty? Where's Manny Fernandez? Where are they when I'm out here? Now, a lot of people come out and they say, Arn, we don't like you. We don't agree with what you do. We don't like the way you do things. But the bottom line is, if you take a poll of this studio, they'll tell you who the real athletes are. It's not Dusty Rhodes. It's not Magnum. It's not Manny. It's guys like AA, Ric Flair, the Midnight Express, guys like Tully Blanchard. That's who's making things happen. And Tony Schiavone, if you took a poll of the people that buy tickets in every arena in the country, they'll tell you the people that are making it happen are the Four Horsemen and the Midnight Express. I'm going to sum it up today by telling you, anybody turns on a TV set, anytime you see me, this is on the line. Dusty Rhodes doesn't defend his national heavyweight title every day. Nobody, especially Magnum, nobody comes out on national television every week and defends their title. But you. So, except, that's right, just me. So what I'm facing day in, day out is double indemnity. But when you're 250 pounds, a cultured bulk, all positioned strategically, all looking just like it ought to look, and it's not all just for show, you do anything you want. It's been your pleasure.
We're coming back right after this time.
Boy, Arn broke out a dictionary before he came out, maybe a thesaurus. Half of those words didn't make any fucking sense, but he delivered them with confidence.
Exactly.
And Ben, I'm going to tell you, 250 pounds of country bulk, that's a fucking hell of a line.
Yes, sir, man.
Country bulk.
Oh boy. I talked to Arn recently because, he did a promo in the ring, with Cody, and they brought out Red Velvet and leading up to their match with Shaq coming up. And I told Arn, he asked me, he said, I really, because Arn and I really are friends. I mean, there's some wrestlers out there who I like and who I'm acquainted with, but Arn and I really are friends, and we've stayed in contact with each other through the years. And he said, I want to know your opinion on the promo that I did. And I said, it wasn't the old Arn Anderson. And he said, well, I don't want to take away from Cody. I don't want to, and I understand that, right? He's a manager now.
Yeah.
And I said, have you gone back and listened to your old 86 stuff? He said, no. I said, do that.
Yeah.
I said, be Arn Anderson out there. And then again, he says, well, I want to stay in I said, they hired you to be Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
So freaking be it. So hopefully he'll go back. Maybe you'll get him to go back and look. He hasn't looked at his old stuff, and he needs to, man, because it was tremendous. I was talking about the airplanes.
Yeah.
The airplanes were obviously an albatross financially, but for the guys who traveled a lot, it was wonderful.
Oh yeah, because they got to be home more.
Yeah, they got to be home more, and they didn't have to go through the airport, which is, if you do it on a regular basis, a pain in the ass.
It's the worst, dude.
Yeah. So it was good, and it was a bad thing, but it was a good thing, and I think it was a bad thing. And of course, I know it'll come out with your interviews with Jimmy on ad-free shows, but I think it became a bad thing because I think they misused it a lot.
Yeah.
In other words, hey, let's fly to Vegas and make Vegas our hub out west and go back and forth all the time.
Of course.
So that was, but then again, you know what? As Dusty said, you're riding the lightning bolt, buddy. He said that a lot. So we were riding the lightning bolt.
It's a great thing. It gives the guys a chance to, have a better quality of life, but it did hurt business. I mean, it's important for everybody to really wrap your head around this. The WWF is grossing far more money than the NWA is here. And Vince McMahon, who we all know as an eccentric billionaire weirdo, he's still riding commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's standing in line at the airport like everybody else.
It wouldn't be long after that, though, he started going private plane. But it was just for him and some of his people, because I was on Vince's private plane. Me and Bruce and Pat and Kevin Dunn, sometimes Kerwin Sophie's. They would put me on there because I had to get back and do the video cassettes.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Track it.
It's not been broken, and we know you're going back after those titles.
That's right, Tony. You know, when I was listening to the monitor earlier, Jimmy Cornette come out here talking about his Midnight Express, the celebrations they had, that his mama, that his mother even bought 2 horses to run a Kentucky Derby.
That's right.
And named them after them. Have you ever met Jimmy Cornette's mother?
No, I haven't.
Well, she ought to be the one running a Kentucky Derby, baby. Let me tell you, she got so much money, she's the only lady I know that's got alligator bags up under her eyes. And Jimmy Cornette, if you don't shut up, I'm going to tell all these people out here how your mama made all that money. Now, what do you think about that, dude?
And like brother said, Midnight Express got one thing that belongs to us. That's the World Tag Team belt. So Midnight Express, don't turn your shoulder, baby, because rock and roll is here to stay. And rock and roll are going to get to regain the NWA World Tag Team titles back, Tony.
Gentlemen, I know you're upset about what happened. Stay here with us. We're coming right back, and we'll take a look at that match where they lost the World Tag Team title. Don't go away.
I'm excited to be here, Tony, and we're going to win those titles back.
Yeah,
real soon.
Yeah, Ricky was the man. I'll tell everybody how your mama made that money.
Back with the Rock and Roll Express. It was right here on the Superstation. A nationwide audience witnessed in shock the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette becoming World Tag Team Champions. Let you go back and relive that moment with us as the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette. Gentlemen, watch this with us. I know you probably be painful for you, but let's take a look at Jim Cornette's Midnight Express against the Rock and Roll Express for the World Tag Team title.
This is coming at him. Both men. Ricky Morton pound away. Slams them into each other. He takes Bobby. Comes in. Dives on him. Side body block goes down for the pin. Roberts got it. Get us.
Now we got them all 4 in there.
They're taking him.
Here it is.
Double drop kick. No.
Oh, it hit Pee Wee Anderson.
Double drop kick again. Takes Dennis out.
There's Cornette.
He's got all right. That's worth it. Get Cornette. He's got the racket. Come on. Whip him. Whip him like a dog. Come on, Ricky. You got the belt.
3 minutes remaining.
Look out.
Oh. Right on top of Ricky Morton. He's done.
Look at him. Cornette dragging beautiful Bobby over. They used the racket on him. Come on, Bud. Robert, you need to get back in. Robert's out there fighting. Fighting this. No.
David.
They did it.
That was the bell. It's over. Pee Wee Anderson looking for the belts. Oh, no, there's new champion.
No.
I think everybody saw what happened, and I don't need to expand on it any longer.
That's right, Tony. It never fails to amaze me how Jimmy Cornette can come out here and say that his tag team is the best in the world. Now, everybody has seen what happened. It took Dennis Condridge to get that tennis racket and hit me upside the head. But not only that time, you can look at my face right here and see that I've been hit with that tennis racket many, many times. But Jimmy Cornette, there's one thing. I almost got to you, baby. So what are you going to do about it? How about tonight or tomorrow night? Sooner or later, Punk, you're going to make that mistake. And you are going to belong to the Rock and Roll Express. We don't care what it takes anymore, Cornette. We're going to walk through your Midnight Express, and we're going to walk straight to you. So you listen to it, and listen to it well, and you watch, and you keep watching, because rock and roll is here to stay.
I mean, they're having to play different music, but dude, these guys are over.
Oh my God. Dennis Condridge,
the best.
popped me. But you know what really popped? Go back, and that little clip of tape is David Crockett at his best.
Whip him like a dog. It's the best.
Double drop kick. Oh man. He was that is real excitement. That is when I saw that belt, I'm thinking in my mind, please say whip him like a dog. And damn it, he didn't disappoint.
No, he didn't. It's the best, dude.
Oh God. Oh man, that really made me laugh. David's excitement. I thought now we're talking years later, but man, fucking star of that show right there was David Crockett. Oh God. I think they're going to have a little angle here or something, or I think the Midnight Express is going to come out. And, but yeah, this is, them stealing the titles from the Rock and Roll Express and the Rock and Roll Express chasing the Midnight Express. This is big business time. Big business time. I talked to Cody about this. Of course, his dad was obviously the main man here. And this is, I think Cody was like 1 year old here, maybe not even a year old. I think he was born in 85. And Cody said, "You guys were just printing money back then, weren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I didn't see much of it, but we were." Because I listen, I wasn't making much back then. Much at all. That's okay. I didn't give a shit. Well, I did, but it was the excitement, being a part of all this, that was good enough for me. Yeah, here we go.
Let's track it here.
Atheist at his funeral, all dressed up and no place to go. Hey, rock and roll, did you lose something? Huh? Did you lose something, Ricky and Robert? They lost about 18 million teeny bopper fans, and they lost the World Tag Team belts. Hey, you want to do it right now? You want to do it? Hey,
go ahead.
Strip them belts off. You don't want no more of these men. You idiots. You goof. You want some of them right now? We already beat you up on national TV one time. You goof. Oh, look at it. They want us in the ring.
Well, Jim, we got to go. We'll see you next week on World Championship Wrestling.
How about you breaking out the "we got to go"?
I should have said tape machines are rolling, but that was later.
Dude, is this still as fun for you as it is for me?
Yeah, man. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving 86. And not only that, look, I'm a big fan of the 80s too. I really am. The 80s were, well, we were having kids personally, but when I go back and I think about my favorite music, it's in that era. It was the greatest era of music ever, and just wonderful time. I mean, what I'm living right now is my greatest time for many reasons. But back then was spectacular. Back then, I loved baseball so much, as we know, and that's how I got into the business. And that's all I ever wanted to do, was be a Major League Baseball announcer. All I ever wanted to do when growing up. But when I had a chance to go to wrestling full time, I didn't even flinch.
Right.
I didn't even think, oh God, my baseball career is going to be over. I went, fucking yes.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Let's go this direction. I've made a lot of big decisions in my life. Leaving the WWE was one of them, and leaving WCW was another one. Signing with the AEW, another one. Agree to do a podcast with you, and those were things that I thought about, and I really considered, and I really weighed pros and cons. Going into wrestling, leaving baseball, gone. No regrets, not even thinking of it, because I loved it so much. Great era, man.
Next week, we got some really fun stuff. We've got Jimmy Valiant in action, of course. Tully Blanchard will be back cutting some promos. Jim Cornette is going to have the Midnights make fun of the Rock and Rolls. We'll see a Baron Von Raschke match. Of course, there's another Paul Jones interview. Barbarian will be in action. You get a Boogie Woogie promo. Tully Blanchard wrestles a very young Ray Traylor and hits the slingshot suplex on him. And I think that's probably what gets him hired for real. An interview with Jim Crockett, which is always nice to see him on here. Midnight Express are in action. So is Ron Garvin. Dusty Rhodes is back cutting a promo. Rock and Roll Express will be in the ring. Nikita is going to be suited and booted, challenging Magnum TA. We'll see Magnum in an action packed match with Lee Peak. We've got Jim Cornette starting to tease that he's afraid of heights, and Arn Anderson is going to defend his TV title against Sam Houston. So a pretty packed show next week, and we're doing something extra special, Tony. We planned to do this in January, but it got away from us, but we're going to make it happen over at Ad Free Shows. And of course, patreon.com/WHW Monday. We're going to start cranking out the other show. It was Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling from 1986, and we're going to have some fun with it. We talked about it last week. We sort of freestyled, man, we need to do something with Saturday 605. So Saturdays at 605 on adfreeshows.com, you'll be able to, and of course the other Patreon, watch some old Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. And it was sort of the companion show, the syndicated show that went with what we just watched on TBS, right?
Yeah, it was. And before we started doing TBS,
it was the A show.
It was the show, man.
Yeah.
They had two of them. They had Mid-Atlantic and Worldwide Wrestling. And I watched both of them because those things have been going on in the Crockett's for years, both shows. So,
well, we're a few weeks behind on that, but we're going to play catch up, and we're going to start dropping those every single Saturday at 6:05. They don't have all of the shows for the entire year. They only go through May, but we're going to rock those and get them all there because they're perfect companion pieces for what we're watching here. And Bob Cottle's all over it, and you love Bob, and I do too. So we'll have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, we really will. Need to talk to Bob.
Yeah, I hear he's he's getting up there in age, but I hear he's doing well for, considering how old he is.
Still got a great voice in his 90s. And
I mean, I know that sounded shitty the way I said it, considering how old he is, but you just said it. He's in his 90s, bro.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, aging's a fact of life, and the fact is, you age well or you don't.
Right.
And he has aged very well.
Well, I'm pumped up. I'm excited that we're having so much fun with this. So stay tuned over on Ad Free Shows and patreon.com/WHW Monday. Not only will we have all of these Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling episodes starting to upload this Saturday, but in addition to that, you're also going to hopefully be with us to see what I think is the definitive Jim Crockett interview. I'll send you a little link today, Tony, so you can see a screener. A couple things we got to correct in there that Chris is tinkering with, but I think that thing's going to be ready in the next few days. And I think it's, I don't know, one of the more important things we've probably ever done.
That's good. I'm really, really looking forward to it because of how much he meant to me in my life. So, and it's always great going back and remembering and talking about what happened when, and we do it here. And I know that the interviews on Ad Free Shows with Jimmy are going to be just a vital, important part of that. Probably even more so than what I can say here.
Well, boys and girls, when I look at my clock, it feels like it's about that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Bojangles champion, J.R. Graham is now Jay-Z Graham is coming to the ring. He's got his valet by his side and he's got that Bojangles title. Wait a minute, from behind, here comes Tony Schiavone with a belt and he clocks Jay-Z Graham. But the question is, what belt did he hit Jay-Z Graham with? Was it that 6-man world title belt or was it that world TV title? It was the world TV title belt. Maybe Schiavone really knows where that belt is that Conrad can't find. We'll see you next week on What Happened When. We come to you Wednesdays on Westwood One. But don't forget Mondays, we come to you on
Patreon. Patreon.com/WHW Monday. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.